Namaskar. Welcome to this session. We are considering the Sutra on Nirmana Kaya, Nirmana Chitta. And we considered the fourth Sutra of the Kaivalya Pada. And now we are proceeding to fifth Sutra of the Kaivalya Pada. The point is, in Nirmana Chitta and Nirmana Kaya, the major purpose is that a yogi becomes multi-bodied, multi-embodied. Each of the embodiment will have its own mind, psyche, consciousness. Each of the embodiment will have its own set of body system, mind system, breath system. Each of the embodiment will have its own set of karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, manasendriyas, sharirendriyas. So that is how the yogi can avail of the benefit of multi-bodied manifestation, multiplication of the embodiments. So he can do several things simultaneously. He can do several things in several places simultaneously. Because otherwise we are in one place and we can work from one place. Because we are all unibodied, single-bodied embodiments. Whereas a yogi has this siddhi of Nirmana Kaya. So he becomes many-bodied and also many-minded. Because why does he become multiplicated? Because he should be doing several things, different things at one and the same time, which generally we cannot be doing. So somewhere he can be working as a goldsmith, somewhere working as a tinsmith, somewhere as a potterman, somewhere as a carpenter, and somewhere he can be managing the family affairs, somewhere he can be having multiple social engagements. So he can be present at multiple places doing multiple activities. Well, that is what is meant by Nirmana Kaya and Nirmana Chitta. So therefore there would be pravrutti bheda. Different activities will be carried out by being multiplicated in embodiments. So as I said, somewhere, like you get a beautiful story in Srimad Bhagavatam. The story is thus, Narada sees that his master, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, has thousands of wives. That figure of 10,108. He has several wives, several consorts. So he envies that this fellow must be having a lot of enjoyment as he has several wives for him. So Krishna reads his envy and he says, Narada, you can certainly take one of my houses. You can occupy one of my houses, and you can have your grahastha dharma there. Just as you see that I am a grahasthi in thousands of families, thousands of houses. I have got thousands of families, and then you see that I have got thousands of grahas, houses. So wherever you come across that I am not present there, you can please occupy that place. So Narada on a day proceeds on this hunt. Let me see where Krishna is not present, so that that house will belong to me and I can be a householder in that house. So he enters one house in the morning and he says, Krishna is just woken up. Okay, he says, goes to another house. And in another house he sees that Krishna is having the morning rituals of washing the mouth, washing the face. In another house he goes and then he sees that Krishna is taking bath. He steps into another house and sees that Krishna is taking his breakfast. And in another house he is doing some morning rituals. In another house he is doing something or else. He is taking meals, he is taking a nap, and so on and so forth. He goes to each of the houses of Krishna, and everywhere he finds that Krishna is engaged in some activity of or the other and is very much present in the house. So he doesn't see any of the houses of Krishna not occupied by Krishna. Krishna is there in some form, in the same form, doing something or the other thing. So he realizes, and therefore he comes and apologizes Krishna and he says, sorry for my envy. I can see that you are in all those houses. You are managing all those thousands of houses. You are householder of the thousands of houses. And someone like you only can do it and none else can do it. So the thing is that Krishna manifests in each house and is engaged in different activities. Some or the other activities he is always engaged and is occupied in some activity in each of the houses. That is pravrutti bheda. That is the pravrutti bhedam. So is it different pravrittis? Is it different activities? Now this pravrutti bhedam is there. So Krishna is in several forms. Similarly, Krishna is in several activities. Similarly, yogi is in several activities. Although it is one and the same Krishna, yogi is one and the same, but pravrutti bhedam. So somewhere he is in personal activities, somewhere he is in family activities, somewhere he is in occupational activities, somewhere he is in social activities, somewhere he is a carpenter, somewhere he is a tinsmith, somewhere he is a goldsmith, somewhere he is a vendor, somewhere he is a teacher. So why does he take so many embodiments, the yogi? Why does he take so many embodiments? So that he can carry out several activities, different activities in different places as well. Different places as well. So that's the pravrutti bhedam. So the fifth sutra tells us pravrutti bhede prayojakam chittam ekam. So although he is in different activities, like Krishna was in different activities, or the yogi will be in different activities, prayojakam chittam ekam. So the main chitta, the main psyche is one and the same. And then, as we discussed in the last session, it's like satellite consciousness. And because it is satellite consciousness, it can be engaged in different activities. Need not be in one and the same activity. So suppose you have to turn out 1000 chapatis. So, in a matter of hours. So, multi-bodied condition, each of them will be doing rolling chapatis. And you will be able to complete that commitment of preparing 1000 chapatis by becoming 1000 bodied. But here that is not the case. Someone will be preparing chapati, somebody will be preparing vegetables, somebody will be preparing pudding, somebody will be preparing some other dish. So these are pravrutti bhedas. Not the same activity done by multiple hands and multiple limbs, but different activities carried out with different motor organs. Like as I said, somebody is carpenter. One of the fabricated body is carpenter, another is mason, another is tinsmith, another is goldsmith, another is vegetable vendor, another is in social activity, another is in a personal activity, another is a professional activity, another one is in a family activity. So several karmas can be accomplished. Several karmas can be exhausted. And that is why this Nirmana Chitta, Nirmana Kaya is there. But Prayojakam Chittam is one. The main Proto Chitta is one, and this is very important. Otherwise, we can also do a social work. And 100 people can come together for a particular work. But then 100 people will have 100 ways of thinking. 100 people will have 100 ways of thought process, and that will be chaotic, like it happens in cooperative field. In the cooperative endeavor, cooperative business, cooperative commerce, cooperative trade, there are different brains behind one activity, and they can mess up. So that is not right. There must be one Prayojaka Chittam. Prayojaka Chittam. So there should be one main Chitta, and that's why, as we said in the previous session, that it is like a puppet show. A puppet show is run by one individual, one person, but he handles several dolls. So there should be one mind behind all the different activities. If the mind is also multiplied by being a initializer mind, proposing mind, then it will be chaotic. And therefore, Prayojakam Chittam Ekam. This is an important condition, not many. And we have seen earlier Sutra, Asmita Matrat, the Proto Chitta is one, and then there are satellite Chittas. However, Proto Chitta has a control over all the other Chittas, all the fabricated Chittas. So various karmas can be carried out, various phalas can be taken, various fruitions can be experienced. Because there is multiplication of Karmendriya Samstha, Jnanendriya Samstha. However, there is a major Chitta, which is the primary Chitta, which is the source Chitta, and that is called the Prayojakam Chittam. Under its presidency, under its superintendency, other Chittas will function. That's an important case. Otherwise, it will be all kind of division of minds, and it will be a federal mind. And the federal mind will be having federal ways of thinking, and that would be chaotic. So that's why that illustration of a puppet show. A person who is running a puppet show comes. So there is one person who is running a puppet show. There are 10-12 dolls or 10-20 dolls, and they are doing different hand-leg actions, different hand-body actions, but one who is pulling the string is one. So that is an important condition here. And that is why the Chitta clearly says, Pravrutti Bhede Chittam Ekam Anekesham. For all the multitudinal, multiplied Chittas and mindsets, there is one major, main, primary basic chitta. So that is also made clear. And then yogi has facility to deploy the different fabricated bodies to different locations for different activities. So somebody is working like kumbhar, somebody is working like sambar, somebody is working like lohar, somebody is working like sonar. What are these occupations? So kumbhar means potterman, sambar means cobbler, sonar means goldsmith, and lohar means tinsmith. So various activities can be carried out, and that is important. So variegated karmas can be carried out, variegated kartavyas can be carried out, variegated duties can be carried out. So yogi in one embodiment will be at home doing the carrying out the family commitment. Another fabricated body will be in office place carrying out office commitment. Another embodiment will be in a social endeavor carrying out social commitments. So that's why this is important. Variegation of variegated activities are important aspects of Nirmana Kaya and Nirmana Chitta. However, the Mool Chitta, root Chitta is one, and other Chittas are branches, branching out from several Chittas. So, there is only one Chitta, Prayojakam Chittam Ekam. This is clear in the Sutra. And therefore, Vyasa clarifies here, Bahunam Chittanam Katham Eka Chitta Abhipraya Purassara Pravrittir iti Sarvachittanam Prayojakam Chittam Ekam Nirmimite. So, all those various fabricated chittas will be going by the intent, programming, mantavyam, sankalpa, pravartanam, abhipraya. It is the main chitta which has all these factors in its hands. And that's a niyamaka chitta. That's a regulator chitta. So there is one regulator chitta and there are several regulated chittas. And one regulator chitta will be regulating different chittas in different ways for different purposes in different functions. So that is how this works. Now a question comes when with one embodiment, with one set of cognitive system and cognitive system, we carry out so many karmas that sometimes we do a karma in a minute and then perhaps we'll have to endure the fruits of such karma for years and years and decades. Karma is done in one moment, but the bhoga is experienced in a huge body of moments, a huge long time, which consumes several years and decades, or sometimes even lives. So, with one set of embodiment, the wheel of karma itself is so tormenting. The wheel of karma is so tormenting that it keeps us bound, it keeps us under destiny for not only lifetime but lives together. So the karma chakra is so dreadening that with one set of embodiment, when it can have such a strong influence on us, it will keep us bound for several lives. Now here, if there are 50 wheels, karma chakras, as we assume that there are 50 embodiments, now with 50, there will be 50 karma chakras. So they will all be getting behind us. So that would be really catastrophic. With one embodiment, we are committing huge amount of blunders. Mountainous blunders are carried out by one embodiment. Now, if there are multiple embodiments, imagine how it will be multiplied. So, the bondage will be not exhausting at all. With one embodiment, our bondage is seeming to be endless. Then, with multiple embodiments, it seems to be further augmenting the problem, escalating the problem of bondage. With one set of Jnanendriyas, we are taking bhogas of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So we are having the gratification of 5 forms of objects with 5 cognitive organs. Now, if there are multiplied 5 into 10, 5 into 50, then see how much bhoga vasana would be generated. So it seems to be escalating the problem exponentially. So with one embodiment we are tired of bandha, of bondage. Then what will happen if we are given 50 such bodies? So naturally this question crops up. Is it not catastrophic? The ability to have nirmana chitta, nirmana kaya, is it not catastrophic? It seems to be a facility for karma management for a yogi. But then if there are so many mindsets, as many mindsets as fabricated embodiments, then it can also escalate the problems. And that seems to be more probable, that the problems will increase. The facility might be just a handful, but the problems are seeming to be of enormous dimensions. Indeed, yes, that's a problem, no doubt about it. So therefore, to answer this objection, we get the next sutra. The next sutra, the 6th sutra, tells us Tatra Dhyanajam Anashayam. So he says there, the Nirmana Kaya, Nirmana Chitta out of Dhyanaja, born out of Dhyana of a yogi, will not create a problem because he is having Anashaya Chitta. If the same Siddhi is attained by other means, such as tapas, tapasadhana, mantra sadhana, aushadhi, if those other means are going to be giving nirmana chitta ability and nirmana kaya ability, then your objection stands valid. It indeed will be catastrophic. Not being yogis, if they assume multiple bodies, multiple sets of bodies, multiple sets of Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas and Sharirendriyas, naturally there will be a problem like it happened to Saubhari. In Srimad Bhagavatam, which we saw the case a couple of sessions ago. Saubhari Akhyanam from Srimad Bhagavatam, and therefore he later repents and he says, he beseeches to all other spiritual minded people, don't indulge in this. Like he became 50 to marry bewitching princess of Mandata. He said, I fell into trap. But you take care that if you are on the spiritual path, please don't have, in your wildest dream, this Nirmana Kaya and Nirmana Chitta, it will certainly entangle you where you will find it difficult to get relieved and released from the clutches of karma chakras. Because just now we saw that there will be 50 karma chakras in case of 50 fabricated bodies. That will be catastrophic. That will be indeed catastrophic. Provided the siddhi is born of other measures, which we saw in the first sutra of the Kaivalya Pada, Janmo Shadi Mantra Tapah Samadhija Siddhaya. So all other measures through which, or other means through which this siddhi will be attained, it will be definitely having the problems that you have sounded. Perhaps 1,000 times more problems than you have sounded. But when it is dhyanaja, samadhija, then there won't be a problem. Because yogi's mind, because of his yoga, it is nirlepa. Nothing will touch it. He might do so many activities, but the karmas will not be getting attached. Because his chitta is niramaya chitta, anashaya chitta. Anashaya means having no vasanas. So a yogi, through samadhi process, through the ethos of samadhi, through the empowerment through samadhi, the yogi can rest assured whatever activities he will be doing will not be afflicting. Why? Because dhyanaja chitta is anashaya. It is not having vasanas. While the chitta evolving out of mantra sadhana, tapa sadhana, other measures, it will not be preventing vasanas. The vasanas will be there, and therefore the problem that was sounded will certainly be actualized. The 50 karma chakras will totally engulf you. Then you cannot explicate yourself from those karmas at all. But this problem doesn't come to a yogi who has nirmana kaya, nirmana chitta. And therefore the next sutra comes and tells us tatra dhyanajam anashayam. Anashaya means nirvasan, having no vasana, klesha vasana, karma vasana will not be there for a yogi's chitta. Well, we'll end the session with an interesting story about this. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya was engaged in a debate with Mandana Mishra. Mandana Mishra was a karma mimamsi, so they were engaged in a debate, and the Mimamsaka got defeated at the hands of Srimad Shankaracharya. So Mandana Mishra was defeated in his debate, and then it was adjudicated by his wife Saraswati. So she said, well, I am his other half. So my half has lost the battle, another half has to yet to lose the battle. Therefore, she tells Adi Shankaracharya that you must engage yourself with me now. So Shankaracharya has to concede. He said, okay. So she puts him a question and he says, please answer this question. Now, Adi Shankaracharya was a sannyasi. He was an ascetic. He was a sannyasi. And she puts a question on grihasthashram dharma and the kama. The kama. Now, it is not possible for Shankara to answer. If he had answered it, then it would have meant that there was mutiny in his sannyas. So she asked question on gratification in grahasthashram dharma. So it's a question on kama vasana, kamecha, and the kama purti, kamana purti. So Shankaracharya is in a fix. So he says, okay, but give me some time, 6 months, I will come back and answer your questions. And then it is said in life of Srimad Adi Shankaracharya that he took recourse to parasharira pravesha. He entered the body of a king who just then had died, or was about to die and has just died. So he enters his embodiment and gets animated. The king gets animated. So Srimad Adi Shankaracharya has entered the body. Parasharira pravesha, parasharira vesha. That is also a siddhi that we had discussed. And then he understands the mind of a king who was a grahasthi, who had his wife, who had his queen, who was spending some time in kama bhoga, and therefore he got to know the answers to those questions. Now Atma is nirlepa. Atma of Adi Shankaracharya was nirlepa. Atma doesn't get attached to any of these things. That's the Sankhya philosophy. And therefore he could enter and understand the kama vasana purti, etc., without getting afflicted by that. And later he comes out and gives answers to Saraswati, and she also concedes the defeat. So Shankaracharya also took recourse to parasharira vesha, parasharira pravesha, parakaya pravesha. Because Atma essentially is untouched by anything. It is immaculate. It is pristine virgin. It doesn't get touched by any condition that it is lying in. And that's how he answered the question of the wife, Saraswati. Well, for those couple of months, Shankaracharya had left his body and he had instructed his disciples to protect the body so that it won't be rotten, it won't be rotting, it won't get decomposed. So he told them how to preserve the body, because I am going to leave the body, and I am going to leave the body for a few months. I won't be returning. So the body will be inanimate, and therefore it will be subject to decomposing, and therefore take care in particular ways that he suggested, and the body was preserved. And then Srimad Adi Shankaracharya comes back to his embodiment after he has completed his mission and goes back to Saraswati Ma and then gives her the answers to the questions that she had posed, and again emerges victorious. Point is parakaya pravesham. So that's how these siddhis work. So in case of a yogi, he might have 50 embodiments, but he will be there to accomplish his function as a yogi. He won't be becoming bhogi in one of the embodiments, because the source chitta, main chitta, primary chitta is anashaya, is nirvasana. Therefore, he will only accomplish certain duties by taking multiple embodiments, and therefore there won't be problem of escalation of bondage. And that is what the next sutra is going to tell us. Tatra dhyanajam anashayam. That is the 6th sutra, which we will consider in the next session. So enough for time being. Namaskar all of you.